Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cape Time. And we are here to discuss the first two episodes of Loki. And sorry we couldn't do one last week, but we had conflicting schedules, so we decided might as well just push it back, do two and one, and here we are. And I'm very pumped to talk about this with you finally, man. I really, really like these first two episodes. How you feeling about it?
I like them too, honestly. I think that uh, it doesn't have, you know, this mystery that WandaVision had, where it was like, where eventually, like, your expectations were built up so high to kind of be like, I mean, I don't want to say a letdown, but like, it's not what you expected. But I think with Loki, it's like the perfect middle ground where there is a good mystery, but like at the same time, you don't. It doesn't have that kind of appeal that WandaVision had, where you got all these expectations up, and like there was all these little hints towards like a greater mystery and the multiverse breaking. But no, this there are a lot of stakes in the show as well, and it's
Absolutely.
it's very clear that this has a high ramifications for the future of the MCU, which is always nice. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing that brings this all together is just the performances and just like it's a really fun show to watch. It's fun to see Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson unraveling mysteries and stuff and being like basically like time cops.
Yeah.
I guess you can say.
Oh yeah, it's like
So
a whole buddy cop dynamic with those two. And if you told me that Owen Wilson was gonna nail that kind of role, let's say a year ago, I would have probably laughed at you, honestly. Like a guy, I not to
he's
say Owen Wilson's
fantastic.
bad because he's obviously not, but I never thought he would
You just never
work.
saw him in that kind of role.
Yeah, exactly. But now that I'm seeing it and the way he interacts with Tom Hiddleston's character, it's really awesome. And I think that it's really going to work for the rest of the show, and I'm very excited to see where this goes because, like you said, I don't really have expectations. Really, I mean, I'm kind of just going with the ride right now. It's whatever happens, happens, and the closest thing to I suppose expectations would be for myself. I fully expect this to kind of be what causes the multiverse of madness, but that's kind of more of a common sense thing because this is the last multiverse project before Spider-Man, and Spider-Man supposedly takes place at the same time as Doctor Strange 2. So I'd assume everything's going to happen here.
In the words of Deadpool, these timelines are so confusing. Uh, yeah. It seems like, I mean, the first episode, it basically explained how the timeline works. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that is meant to be used as a reference point for going forward for what happens if a timeline were to unravel. And yeah, and I think we're about to see a multiverse of madness. And obviously, at the end of episode two, shit went crazy. So, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, this
honestly,
is.
maybe an unpopular opinion, but I may have liked episode 1 more than 2, actually.
Hmm,
I don't
hmm.
know. I really liked the deep dive character study they did on Loki in that first episode, and even the exposition that was there. It wasn't boring exposition. It was very tastefully done. It was very fun. I really liked the first episode a lot, and I loved the second too, especially the second half of episode 2. That was probably the best of Loki so far. But yeah, I love both episodes, and this is my favorite show so far. Early on, but we still have another 4 episodes left, and I know some stuff that's gonna happen, like for sure, but I don't know a ton. I only know a few things from people I trust.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's just a good show, really, and like that's basically like all we were kind of hoping for. Like, I don't think anyone expected this to be like a show that actually did have huge ramifications for the future, but then,
Well, I kind of
oh,
did.
it does. No, I mean, like, before we found out what we found out about
Oh,
the plot, and it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. So, Yeah, it's just a good show though. I think that's the reason why people keep watching it. It's just really good. It's just a really good show.
Yeah.
So, keep being good. Like
Yeah, I
I,
mean,
I'm in
I love
I'm in
everything
favor.
about it, man. Like, just the dialogue is so good too. I mean,
I
the
like the
lore.
sets.
Oh, the sets are great. I mean, because I'm pretty sure they did a lot of this like actually on sets. Not all
Yeah,
of it, but a lot of this show in particular. I remember reading that it was mostly done on sets minus a few pieces, which is pretty awesome because Marvel obviously does they get a lot of shit for doing a lot of the green screen work, which I get sometimes. But this show you can tell the difference. Like there is a lot more set pieces, which is cool.
yeah. I mean, this is a show that has a bit of everything. Honestly, it's like you know it's funny. But it can also get serious, and it's just it tackles some interesting topics like predetermination, like fate, really, stuff
It
like
gets pretty
that.
religious, honestly.
Yeah, it's
In the
like
second episode, like it was like a full-on religious conversation almost between
yeah,
Mobius and Loki.
yeah, and just like it's very interesting to see how these timekeepers work, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this all unravels and turns into the multiverse of
They're
madness.
all liars.
Yeah, really, it's like,
I'm telling you right now, there is only one timekeeper, and it's gonna be Kang
or Jesus.
or Kang. It's gonna be Kang. I guarantee you, he made up this whole elaborate thing. He's gonna be the one and only timekeeper, which is the one in the middle. And even you can see in some of the shots actually, like they show one with the three statues, and two of them are almost like praising the one in the middle, and that happens to be the one that looks like Kang too, and he's like holding like a book or something. So I think that there's pretty clear emphasis on one of them being almost bigger and more, you know, important than the others. So I think that that's done for a reason, and I think it's because that one's going to be Kang. But we're gonna have to wait and see. But it adds up with everything that I know, what I've heard, and also just a mix of just kind of looking at the tea leaves here.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I'm just very interested to see how this all unravels. I don't really want to do the whole theory stuff again,
Well, the
like we
thing
did.
is, this is one that I'm like 99.9% sure on this time.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see Kang for sure. So I think he's gonna be in the show regardless, like whether or
It's
not.
been reported already, so
Yeah, like so. I don't know. I'm just really gonna let this play out, and I'm gonna let it marinate. Really, I don't really want to get too crazy with speculation. I just want to enjoy it. I'm like along for the ride, and it's actually very fun this way. It's like, oh, I'm gonna watch episode one, and you're just chilling with Loki, who's figuring out like what the hell this place he just got put in is, and
I mean, it's pretty crazy because this is a god you're talking about in the form of Loki, kind of
yeah,
just succumbing to this greater power, and it's like, you can just see it in his eyes, like he never thought there could be a power such as this, and just him coming to that realization, almost that look of defeat in his eyes, like it's pretty
yeah,
crazy, honestly. The first episode, man, Tom Hiddleston's performance was absolutely incredible. I That's why I love the first episode so much because it really just dives so deep into the character and what he's about, and just him accepting all these things, that especially some things about his character, like his character developed like the way he did throughout, Thor 2 and Ragnarok in a span of like an hour, but it was almost done organically somehow, which is so impressive. Like they made it all make sense.
yeah. So like, let's dig into episode one briefly. So like, we don't have to like fully
No, just
go
just, just
go through the
hit,
meat
hit
and
the
potato. We
important
can
points.
just skim it. Like Loki escapes like we saw in Avengers Endgame. The TVA captures him. He gets put into the TVA, and yada yada yada. We learned from Miss Minutes how the multiverse works, how like these all these timelines were getting all messed up, and yada
I'm gonna
yada
have to
yada.
talk to you about that
And yeah, and that could
because
potentially
I
be a
have like,
secret wars thing.
well, not just that. I just have a lot of questions because me and my friends, like, we were talking about this after the episode. Like, is there a multiverse already? Like prior to this, everything going to shit, and like, 'cause my head at first was, I feel like there is a multiverse, but they all have their own, or they're all under a sacred timeline, and they just don't interact with each other because of the sacred timeline. Or
I
is
think
it, or is it there's no multiverse, and it's
I
created
think there
because
is
of
one. I think
oh,
there is one.
so
Pre.
already, even prior to Loki episode
Yes,
2.
I think there is one previously.
Okay,
I think that
because that makes the most.
because Ancient One basically already confirmed that in Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah, and also
So
you got to keep in mind too that what's it called? The fact that we have this Loki variant. I mean, this Loki variant's totally different from the other. It's a woman, and the thing is, the other ones they all kind of look like him a little bit. Like
yeah,
they
so
look
it's
like
like
Loki, but this one clearly is very, very different.
it's
But
gonna
it's
be
still
very
Loki.
interesting to see the differences between variants and just simply alternate
Yeah,
versions
yeah,
and
exactly.
who
There's a big
inhabit.
difference.
Yeah. So like it's gonna get we're gonna need good explanation. We're gonna need explanations on
I
a lot
think
of this
it's going
stuff.
to be explained at the end because if everything, let's say the TVA ends up being a bit of a sham, I think we're going to find out what was real and what wasn't through
It'd be
the end of
cool if they
that
had like a
show.
Wizard of Oz kind of reveal.
Oh my
We're
God, that'd be hilarious.
like,
I am the great and powerful Oz.
it's gonna be very interesting to see. Like, obviously, we saw in the guy's desk like all those Infinity Stones and like all this stuff that was supposed to be like some of the most powerful stuff in the entire universe, and it doesn't even work in the TVA. None of it works. None of it matters. It's just, and like that's just like, oh, okay. How is this gonna work? Like, what is the TVA? This is, and like that mystery behind what the TVA is honestly something that keeps me coming back because I want to learn more about what this freaking place is. You know,
No,
is it
I
is
totally
it
feel.
a is it a place? Is it an entity? Is it what is it?
No, you're totally right. And the one thing that caught my eye in episode 2 actually is the one person that Lady Loki kidnapped. She says, I gave away the location of the timekeepers, which means she somehow knew
Hmm.
where they are. And I'm not sure if they all know where they are because they never talked to them, most of them seemingly. Like they never had interactions, but I suppose they could know the location, and Lady Loki has that now. So I'm guessing what we're building towards is I guess them kind of trying to find their way there, and I think that's what the finale's in part going to be, just them interacting with the timekeepers or them being fake, one or the other.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited for to see like those final 2 episodes or so because I'm just really excited to see how this all works. How like I'm just interested to see like just the timekeepers and where they are, and just really this entire mystery just unfolding and unraveling right before our eyes. Uh,
Hmm.
it's gonna be really fun, and obviously, I think actually it's not Lady Loki. I think
It
it's
is and it isn't. It's an amalgamation clearly of two characters. Like it's also
yeah.
Enchantress, and we know that. So I think that this is Lady Loki. It's just they're not doing it traditionally in the way the comics did.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's gonna be very very fun to see this mystery unfold. I
Yeah,
love
and we're gonna see, at least I can confirm for sure, there's gonna be at least two other Loki variants in this show.
yeah for sure. I mean this is Loki after all, and obviously we're on the subject of variants and alternate versions of these characters. So why not have multiple versions of
You know who's a
Loki?
variant?
Ooh,
Toby.
I mean, is he?
It's an excellent question.
I mean,
Depends how they define variant, because I'm not quite sure.
well, I mean, I think in my opinion, a variant is two Tom Hiddlestons.
I mean, it could be, but they also called this Loki a variant.
So Yeah, the definition of variant is interesting because Toby, Andrew, and Tom are very clearly three separate versions of the same person. Three separate Peter Parkers. So I don't know. I can't. I need an explanation. Whatever. We'll get an explanation soon enough. Uh, I, I I I don't like the term variant for Toby and Andrew though. I
I
just feel
mean,
like
they
I feel
they
I feel
are.
like that kind of cheapens what they are, to be
It
honest.
doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really mean much. It just means they're not the main timeline, sacred timeline. Peter Parkers. That's all
Well,
it
they should
means.
be. Well, they should be. Well, I mean, Toby should be. Just saying. Well, I
Well,
mean, yes. Well, they are not the main MCU timeline
well, yeah,
versions.
that's what I mean. That's what a variance is because the sacred timeline refers to the MCU continuity, seemingly.
Well, this is where we get another question: is that where what is Sam Raimi and Mark Webb's universe? What does that count as? Is that what is that? What
Well,
are we doing?
multiverse.
Yeah,
Because it's not. It's definitely not part of the same timeline, obviously.
correct, correct.
It yeah, so it's multiverse definitively. It's not like, oh no, this
Yeah,
is an alternate timeline where
and
some stuff went
Toby
different.
inhabits that part of the multiverse,
Yeah, of
and
course.
Andrew inhabits the other part of the multiverse with the Mark Webb films. So are they variants of Tom, or are they just three people, three separate versions, all living on different Earths?
Again, it'll come down to whatever variant means because
Yeah,
technically
we
it's
need
up
an
for debate.
elaboration on what variant means. Like
Uh,
it could just be a fancy term for what we're just saying right now.
I mean maybe.
For like, it's just oh yeah, those are three separate people that are the same person, but are not the same person. There's three separate versions of the same character, which is literally what the multiverse is.
I mean, do you have any other like big notes from episode 1? I mean, I'm trying to
No,
think.
I mean, other than the fact that the Tom Hiddleston's performance at the end when he was seeing him die and seeing basically what his life was supposed to be if he didn't take the Tesseract and try to
No, that was
escape.
great. That was great.
And it's like and it's just it was kind of a sad way to end the
Oh,
episode.
also the score was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, that
I love the Loki
that
theme.
entire episode was great. Uh, Top to bottom, it was pretty great. I mean, there's nothing to really complain about in that in these past few episodes. It's been a great show so far, and that was a really great way to end it, and it really propelled what his character became in episode 2.
Yeah, and
And he
episode 2.
became a TVA agent.
Yeah, episode 2 was very awesome. I mean, like we were talking about, this one in the second half had a lot. Like that's where the plot really finally gets going. The first half, you have some more exposition still with some hints of what's gonna come, and I didn't mind it necessarily. It was just not. It was not. It didn't work as well for me as episode 1, but it was still really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why I liked episode 1 a little more. But
I like the
over.
horror kind of elements
Oh yeah, the horror
that they
elements are
do.
very cool. I'm trying to think because the episode ends actually like we talked about with Lady Loki going through the doorway and then Loki follows. So I'm very interested to see where that ends up going because does that mean like are they gonna go into another time? I don't even know where they can be going honestly.
Where the fuck are they going? We
I
don't
want
know.
to know. I
We
want
do
to
not know.
know.
It would
I
be
would
nice to know.
I would kill. They probably won't do this, but it'd be really sick if like she went back to her universe if she's from the multiverse and Loki follows. That
Mm-hmm.
would be wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be very fun to see. I don't have any idea of where of like any kind of guess as to where they're going, so I
Wow.
don't know. So I try not. I'm just along for the ride, man. Whatever happens, happens, man.
I just want more Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Boing.
He's so good. I love him so much in this role. It's hilarious. I never thought I'd say I love Owen Wilson in a Marvel movie or TV show, but I do. I really do.
Mhm.
I will say I saw this on YouTube. It was a theory, but I actually like this theory a lot, so I'm just gonna say it for fun. Um, Remember when in episode 2, Mobius is meeting with what's the name of the woman again? That was it
Forgot
the
her name.
judge? Or,
Yeah, it's the
you know what I'm
judge.
talking? Yeah, yeah.
She's actually incredibly powerful, incredibly. She's basically like a queen or something, or like
I
a
mean, she knows the timekeepers. Like she's actually talked to them. She's like the
yeah.
only one so far, so that's pretty significant in itself. But what I was gonna say was they put a lot of emphasis actually in the credits and there on the stains he leaves from the glass he drinks
Mhm.
or whatever it would be, the little rings on the table. I saw someone bring up the theory of, is it possible that there are variants of Mobius in the TVA? When I say variants, I mean more of he's constantly being like remade after a certain amount of time, and he keeps leaving the same ring there, and that's why he keeps forgetting. I thought it
Her
was a fun
name
theory.
her name is Ravana Renslayer.
Yes, yes, thank you.
She
I couldn't
is
remember.
a former hunter for the TVA who rose from the ranks to become a respected judge. Okay, yes, okay. Basically, yeah, she's a judge.
Hmm.
Yes. I just wanted to Google that because I wanted to actually, you know, get it right. Get it right, Tom. Very rarely do I do that, but this is one of those times. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just episode 2 was very nice. I like the way it opened. To be honest, I like kind of enjoyed this whole this horror vibe that they're going for. I like the whole this stealthing around and also the using of Loki's powers to possess others and you see that one agent turn and we know what Loki does. He touches you and he's now you're on his side and
Yeah.
yeah, it's I just like the horror vibes, man. Before the big reveal of who Lady Loki was, it's just kind of creepy, kind of with the hooded figure. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
that's kind of like a cliche, but like it's also just it's a fun cliche. I mean, it works. That's why it became a cliche.
I
Yeah.
do enjoy actually when Lady Loki kind of like takes control of everybody, and you can and like the actors did a very good job of like still being that Loki persona, even though it's obviously a different actor. I thought
Mhm.
that was very well done by the actors and performers there, and just the whole interaction between Loki and his variant was very, very well done, and I love this when they both smile at each other with that sick sadistic like, yeah, we're both gonna try to
They
fuck each other over here kind of
they
smile.
are two of the same. Two of the
It's
same.
hilarious. I absolutely love that whole dynamic, and I think
I'm
that relationship is probably going to be my favorite of the show by the end, even more than Mobius and Loki, just because those two ideologies that are the same kind of clashing with each other, yet also having these
Yeah,
key
two.
differences.
It's like
It's going to
it's
be
like
very
this.
cool.
It's like you take a positive and a positive, and it becomes a negative. It's
Yeah.
like two of the same actually does not work well in this situation. You're gonna need a positive and a negative to create something better. But yeah, this is gonna be a total shit show with those two, you know, hanging out together. Obviously, Mobius is gonna have to find Loki and find our Loki and get his ass back. It's very interesting to see like whose side Loki is really on. Like, is he following Lady Loki for his own purposes, or is he? It seems like he's following her for his own purposes, but
Hmm.
could he be doing this for Mobius in the TVA?
The
I don't
one
know.
thing that interests me is like I mentioned before, they did bring up the whole how the one person she abducted actually gave away the timekeeper's location, but she also told Loki in that same episode that I have no interest in the timekeepers or taking over. Like that's not really what I'm looking for. But apparently she also, again, she questioned her wanting to know the location. So is she trying to play mind games with Loki now? I have no idea because that kind of conflicts with each other.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, episode 3, episode 4 should really, delve into, her honest purpose, her honest intentions, her honest goals here. What she really wants. She, like you said, she said she had no interest in the timekeepers, but then she gave away the timekeepers, and it's like, uh, what do you want? What do you really want? And I think,
Chaos.
and honestly, this is Loki, and she's a female version of the Loki that we know, and God of mischief, and mischief there shall be. And
Yeah, and I think by the end of this show, the Lokis are not necessarily going to team up, but they're going to have a common goal, and they're both going to want to take down, not necessarily, well, let me rephrase. They're going to want to take down the timekeepers because they no longer believe in the need for this sacred timeline and predetermined outcome.
yeah,
And in doing so, they may take down the TVA. Although I think that Mobius in particular, I think his role will expand beyond this show just because I think he's a fan favorite and people like him a lot. So I don't think they'd kill him off or anything this early. But I don't know. I could be
I
wrong.
like him.
I like him a lot, and I'm interested to know where do you think the TVA is? Because I stand by it being in the quantum realm, like other people have said.
It's very possible that it's in the quantum realm because time really
It,
doesn't move
that's
in
what
the
I'm
quantum
saying.
realm.
That seems very because they made it. They literally said the exact same thing in Ant-Man, basically. Just time moves differently here, and I
Yeah,
I don't think that's a coincidence.
yeah, like Scott Lang got trapped in there for what, 5 years, and he came back out, and he basically said it was like an hour to him. So it's like, I just don't, I don't think, I think it's very likely that it's in the quantum realm. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, I guess the
Uh,
bigger question would be like, let's say you try going out the front door of the TVA. What does it look like? Like, where are you? That's
uh,
that's what we have to know eventually.
I don't think that you can call an Uber for that.
That's my question. Can you?
It would be nice. But
Like Loki just sitting in the back of an Uber, he doesn't tip him well, like that'd be perfect.
yeah, that'd be funny getting like a quantum realm Uber back to Earth or Asgard, wherever he wants to go. Well, Asgard blew up, so can't go there. But yeah, wherever Loki chooses to go. Uh, yeah, so it's just gonna be very interesting to see like what this entire TVA is, what it really is, because
Yes, because I think
they
we can all
feed
agree something's
they
off
feed
there.
they feed all the propaganda and shit, but it's
Oh,
like,
they put a lot of emphasis on the propaganda too, man.
yeah, yeah, it's like, and then Miss Minutes is pretty hilarious. That's a great addition, and yeah. So I don't see any way that that they actually are exactly what they say they are. I think they're close, but I think there's some secrets that they've been hiding that make you know free will possible. Let's say that free will is going to be possible after this season is over. That's what my guess is going to be. And because of free will becoming possible, I think we're going to see some multiverse stuff happen. Obviously. So I think yeah. I think that, yeah. That's basically all I have to say about that. Shit's gonna get crazy.
I don't even know where I was going with that.
I was just basically what I said at the end was that I think that at the end of Loki, by the time this season ends, that that we're gonna free will is gonna be possible. Like, I think that the TVA, their whole propaganda about the timeline is gonna be outed as kind of bullshit, and I think that the downfall of the TVA is going to be one of the main catalysts for the multiverse breaking open and
Yeah.
becoming a multiverse of madness. We saw at the end of Loki episode 2 that branch timelines were going crazy. And I think that at the end of episode 6, that finale episode, I think you're going to see something similar
You
again.
know, you know what I think they're doing more so than anything. I think that all these branching timelines that we're seeing, it's all setting up the What If show, which is up next.
Mm.
I think that's definitely what they're doing because we're like it shows like all these places where these branch timelines are happening, and a lot of these are relevant to the What If show, and it just seems kind of odd that not odd, but too coincidental that the What If show is coming right after the show that creates the possibility of a What If show being canon to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yeah,
why this show's doing that.
makes a lot of sense, and it should be, you know, yeah, yeah. I think that actually does make the most sense. And it's cool just seeing. It's like it's a harmless kind of animated show about alternate branch versions of characters, and if it's not for you, then cool. If it is for you, then hey, you got a cool animated MCU show that's sort of canon, but sort of not. But it's complicated. You know,
It's
yeah. I don't see any harm in the What If show. So especially with this kind of setup, I guess you can say, if what you're saying ends up being true. And yeah, I think uh, I think the TVA is the key to the future, if that makes sense. The key to the future of what everything's gonna be in terms of the multiverse stuff.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's where the show's heading, and as of now, I'm in love with everything, man. I don't really have much more to say on it. I think we kind of talked about the main
I
points of
think
both.
we hit on everything.
Yeah, you good too then?
Yep,
All right,
I'm
then
good.
let's get into some of the news from the last however long it's been since we last did an episode. Ba-ba-ba. I'll run down the list, all right?
You do that.
All right, well, Black Widow first reactions just came out and very positive for the most part, man. I haven't heard too many bad things as of now, and I gotta say it got me a little more excited for the movie.
But yeah, I think that everyone kind of assumed that it'd be a solid flick, and everyone's saying it's a solid flick. I don't think it's gonna be on many people's like top 10 lists for MCU films, but I think it's one of those films where people are gonna be like, it's solid. They did a good job. That's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's fine. And that's fine. It's good. It's gonna be a fun summer flick with a lot of action, good performances, some heart, and some MCU setup for future more exciting, more anticipated installments in the MCU. And then yeah, it's just gonna be a good time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And really, that's really I don't really have too much to say about it, honestly. Good, awesome to see, and I look forward to seeing it in a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be really awesome. I can't wait to go back to theaters and have a chance to watch it. And just from this, 'cause I'm not gonna go into detail about the plot because I know spoilers, but I won't say any. But it sounds really good, honestly. It sounds very fun, very exciting, and be sure to stick around for the post-credit scene because it's going to be pretty important, actually.
Mm.
It's going to be very important, I think, for. I won't go into detail, but I will say it could be very important for, I think, an eventual Cap 4 potentially, and also very important for another Disney Plus show, which Tom knows which one I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yes, so
Yes, I do.
it's pretty clear what they're doing, and I love it. I
I'm
honestly love,
watching that one for the
love it.
plot.
Oh yeah. All right, I guess we'll move on to point two here. So we got to look at the Supergirl costume today, which is really cool, and it's pretty
Yes,
been made pretty clear by the style of the suit. It is in the same universe as Henry Cavill's Superman.
yes, it is. And yeah, I mean, I don't know where the rumors came from that it was like from Keaton's universe, but it's pretty clearly not. I mean, she is the Henry Cavill DC extended universe version of Supergirl, so she's from the same universe as Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, etc. She's in that main DC timeline, DC universe. So shut up about her being from another Earth. She's not. And so she's Henry Cavill, Superman's cousin, and say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I think that she's going to have a really nice role in this movie. It's going to be very nice to see her do her thing. And aside from her, we also got news that, not unsurprisingly, Grant Gustin's going to actually have a cameo in the Flash movie, which I'm going to be honest, I'm fucking pumped about just because it's cool. This is very cool.
Yeah,
because I even if you don't like the show,
like,
I
you
don't
don't
see
have
how
to
people
like the
don't.
show.
But I don't know why people wouldn't like him because I think he's a great Flash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, if we're going to name, like, the silver linings of, like, the shitty parts of Flash, the silver lining of the Flash has always been, the cast for the most part.
The cast was never an issue, I don't think.
Like, Grant,
the cast has always been good.
Especially, like, those early seasons when Grant had to, bring those emotional, heavy-hitting scenes in those truly great seasons. He really, did a fantastic job. He's not a CW actor, if that makes sense. Like, he's not someone that should be 100% on, television. He could be a movie actor once The Flash ends. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be. I think he's a very good actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, he belongs in the movie. It's obviously Ezra Miller crossed over with Grant Gustin on the Crisis crossover event on the CW a few months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like. They already met once, so why wouldn't they meet again?
Exactly, and that's why
Flash,
I figured it was happening. It makes too much sense.
Like, why wouldn't that? Like, that it would. I think it would have made less sense for. I think him showing up makes more sense than him not showing up. Like, it just seems kind of logical to me. Like, yeah, you got a really popular Flash that's been around for, I don't know what. We're closing in on a decade of Grant Gustin being Flash. So
yeah, it's crazy to say that, but yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, so why wouldn't he be, here? So makes perfect sense. I'm excited to see him. Even if you don't like the shows, like, I kind of fell out with the CW. I still appreciate what Grant has done with Barry. So and when he shows up on the screen, it's going to be a nice moment for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy for him to get that opportunity. I really am. That's
exactly.
Really good for him. It's hard to not be happy.
He deserved that. He deserved that for sure. So
good shit. But moving on to Sony and Spidey stuff in general, we'll get this little section out of the way. So Kraven, in the Kraven the Hunter movie that was recently announced and got the release date, we found out that Chameleon was apparently going to be a villain, if not the villain in the fucking movie, which is interesting. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, Chameleon and Kraven are like brothers in the comic books, in some comic books, I think. So like, I think that may be where they're going. Obviously, in Spider-Man: Far From Home, there was a character named Dimitri.
I don't think it's going to be him, honestly.
But I don't think it's going to be him. I think they're going to retcon that, where they're going to say he's not Chameleon and it's going to be some other dude.
Yeah.
And they're going to probably want to cast a more higher profile actor. And that Dimitri guy is just, his name was just Dimitri. He's not Chameleon. So, Chameleon belongs on the big screen at some point. I would have thought that he would have been in a Spider-Man movie. But hey, Sony. So I tried not to ask questions anymore. I hope the movie's good.
I have a feeling this one will be good simply because of the fact that Marvel is more hands-on with it. This is not just a Sony project. This is a project Kevin Feige is literally in control of, in part at least. So I don't see a scenario where it's bad, but I think it should at least be a decent movie. At least.
Yeah, yeah. As long as it provides a lot of action, I'm okay with this, and
Yeah.
be true to the characters as well. And if you do those two things, you're in good shape.
And mini rants coming up. So we just originally Tyrese from Morbius. Who's he playing again?
He's playing Simon Stroud.
Okay, so the actor said that in an interview with Brandon Davis that Morbius is in the MCU, but then Sony came out and denied it after. But
Yeah.
all of you, come on, use
So here's
sense.
what's going on here.
No, I need to rant. I need to rant.
Go
Then
for it.
then we'll be logical. Then we'll be logical. But dude, Michael Keaton was in the trailer. He was in the trailer. What, do you think this was an alternate Vulture? Do you think they had an alternate Vulture to just happen to be there? Or Michael Keaton just playing another character in the Morbius movie? No! They're the same fucking universe! He's wearing the same jumpsuit too. Come the fuck on. Get some common sense here. They are without a doubt in the same universe, and them denying it is them trying to cover their tracks, obviously. Just think of that for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, now logic. Tom, go.
Yeah. So it is in the MCU, but it's not in the MCU.
Yes. Look,
It
it's in the Spider-Man world, but Spidey has its own little bubble. That's the thing.
So basically, here's what's gonna happen. So those movies, those Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters movies, will take place on the Earth that the MCU takes place in. But those movies will not be mentioned in any of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. So they're basically just like in their own they're kind of doing their own thing, kind of like the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Basically, you're not gonna
Also,
get, yeah.
if Morbius ends up being good, I'm gonna need him to be in a Blade movie somehow. Just
That'd
saying.
be fun. That'd be fun. Hopefully they can make something work there.
I think under the right scenario, like if a movie works out and they really have interest in a character, they can work something out because ultimately it just benefits both sides anyway. So why not?
Yeah, I don't see why not. So yeah, it is, but it isn't. It's not a Kevin Feige produced Marvel Studios official MCU movie. It's a Sony Pictures produced movie that takes place on the same Earth that the MCU movies take place in, and it's very, very complicated, and it's sort of not complicated, but you'll get clarity on it once Morbius comes out and once Venom comes out.
Yeah.
They're doing this because they want Tom Holland to appear in these movies, but they also don't want to pull. They don't want to do anything like stupid with like putting him in another universe and then putting him back, yada yada yada. So it's a lot. I just kind of wish that like Feige would just be like, can we just make it official? Can we just do this? But
Can we just have Disney buy Sony?
can we not actually? Like,
Could we,
here's the thing.
just to make my life easier.
I'm okay with Disney buying the rights to the remaining Marvel characters that Sony owns,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
But I'm not okay with Sony. I mean, with Disney eating up Sony like they did with Fox.
I'm not gonna lie, it would be pretty funny though.
Because there were a lot of jobs that were lost, and obviously we now don't have one of the biggest companies in the world anymore because of that merger. So it's like, yeah, the mergers are bad. So most of the time mergers are bad, except
I
for one.
think that ultimately they will end up getting those characters back one day, but it's gonna be a while not anytime soon. But I think one day it will happen.
Well, at least
They want them. They want them bad.
At least we got our non-MCU Morbius movie that we've all asked for a billion times. I honestly wish they just like went full on Spider-Man universe in which like all these characters bounced off of Spider-Man movies that they were already in, but that didn't happen. So I don't know. Fuck. It is what it is. I hope Morbius will be good. I think the trailer looked fine, and I really don't have too much else to say about it because we got other topics that are like kind of more important. No offense to Morbius, but like,
Like, you know what's really important?
yeah,
Does Batman eat pussy?
you know, let's talk about this.
Go for
This
it.
is a hot button issue. Surrounding the multiverse. Um, yeah. I think he does. I think that DC was wrong. I think he does. You know, he likes to date a woman named Catwoman. Can't have a Catwoman. That's
Yeah.
pussy. So yes, he does. Can't canonically he does. We know Keaton does it. Definitely know Kilmer does it. I think Clooney might not
Oh,
do it.
no, Clooney does it. We
Clo-
know Clooney does.
How do you know?
We know.
How do we know? What makes you think you know?
It's George Clooney, dog.
Yeah, but like I don't feel like he's got that animalistic tendency inside of him.
I never said he was animal-like. He's much more professional about it.
Hmm. Yeah. Obviously, last night Zack Snyder posted a
It's
picture,
canon.
a graphic image of said event happening. Uh, and yeah, canonically, Batman enjoys cats. Uh,
There you go.
not the movie Cats, because nobody enjoyed the movie Cats, but
I've never seen anything worse in my life, but continue.
yeah. What a topic, man.
I didn't think I'd be talking about this.
If you told me when we started this podcast that we would one day have a conversation about whether or not Batman performs, uh, I think I would have not agreed to have done this podcast. I think I would have just crawled up in a ball at some point and just contemplated life.
I think I would have been more motivated to do this podcast.
Maybe. What a sequence of
Yeah.
events this week.
On the topic of Batman,
Yes, let's move on
Titan
from this.
season 3 trailer came out, actually, teaser trailer only, so they didn't show much. But
Yeah,
did you watch it or no?
I did see it.
Okay, you did see it.
I
They
did
didn't
see
show
it.
a ton, obviously, but I did like some of what I saw for sure. Like, there was some stuff there I thought was very cool.
It's clear that the budget is kind of higher.
And that is, I heard they got new writers too. That could be wrong, but I think I
Jesus
heard
Christ,
that.
you could have hired me and I would have written better than the past two seasons. No offense to those
I
people,
think
but my
season
God.
2 was a big step up over 1 still, but 1 was horrible. Like, it
Dude,
was bad.
bro, I'd really just like what the fuck, man? Like, the first two seasons were like, just like, there was like, they really couldn't figure out how to make these characters a team to
It's like
save their
season
life.
1. The thing is, it was dragging the entire time. There was no interesting thread at all. It was just shit happening for the sake of shit happening, and the only thing that kept my interest at all was honestly Dick Grayson in that. I thought he was very cool. I liked him a lot. I like the casting for
I like
that.
the casting
Yeah, the
just
casting I thought
overall.
was good. The casting for him, I think, was actually like
Yeah,
perfect. Like
Brent,
I think
Brent,
he could have fit in with Ben Affleck. Honestly, I feel
oh,
like
absolutely. Brendan's a really good actor, so
yeah, that was a good pick.
yeah, there's no doubt that he's done big budget films, so he definitely could have done that. It would have been cool to see him do like a Nightwing movie with Chris McKay that we're gonna get into in a bit. Yeah, just I think I think the strongest point of Titans is the casting. I think without the casting,
Yeah.
this show's flaws would show a lot more than people would like to admit.
I still think season 2 is okay. I think it's a decent season. I think Slade was actually very good in that season.
Slave was cool. Like
I
there
think
is cool
like his
stuff.
character was genuinely good. His design was good, and I think the whole conflict with him and his character and his son, I think
The
that was
way
all very
the
well done.
finale was like the way he died was kind of shit, right?
Wait, the finale?
Yeah.
Well, which part of it?
Like he died very easily.
Oh, well, yeah, no, that definitely
And
wasn't
then
great,
and
but
then Donna had like a light post fall on her and kill her.
no, that was horrible. That was horrible.
And
No,
like
that was really bad.
and like
Again, there were parts of the season I thought were really good in season 2, but they still had a lot of those season 1 moments where you're just like, what the fuck? But it was definitely an improvement. I stand by that. Like there
also
was real.
I'm not like a huge fan of the Bruce Wayne casting, to be honest.
I think I agree
He's
with that. He
just
doesn't. I can't
listen,
imagine him fighting and kicking ass.
no, he really does. I don't want to sound mean. He looks just he doesn't look like a Bruce Wayne that's still going out there kicking ass every night. He just doesn't look like that.
Yeah, and at this stage in his life too, because he has Jason Todd right now. Like he just met Jason a year ago, and he's
Yeah,
already
well,
how old?
is
Like
he gotta be a fucking senior citizen when he meets Damian Wayne?
yeah, do Damian or fucking Tim? Oh my God, that's
Like,
gonna
here's the
be.
thing. Here's the thing.
Whew.
What Titans should have done. They should have had, you could have had Bruce meet Dick Grayson when Bruce was like 30, right? And then it's clear that Dick's been Robin for close to 20 years. So you could have hired like a late 40s, early 50s actor to be Batman. I think it would have worked. But like this dude's pushing 60 if he's not already 60. Like
I'll look it up actually. I'm curious.
he's close. He's like 58 last time I checked. It's like he's just a little bit too old to be he's 59.
Yeah, 59.
Like
That's a little too old.
it's just a little too old. If he was like just like 10 years earlier, maybe this could have worked. But
Like
like
I think his performance is decent actually.
his
Like I don't
performance is fine. It's
like it's
just
not bad. It's just it's not what I feel like Batman should be.
I feel like this Batman should have been a Batman that's more in his prime, more locked in,
Yeah,
And I just don't get that vibe from him because he's just too old. He looks like a Batman that's about to retire. And like,
exactly. No, I fully agree with that. And I think another flaw that this show has too maybe is for going into next season, I'm worried that they're really gonna rush all the Red Hood stuff because we literally just like Jason Todd hasn't been here long. We barely had any time with him, and more so than anything, we haven't even remotely touched on his relationship with Bruce. And they want us to be invested in that next season. I feel like when there's really no reason to be invested in their relationship because we haven't seen any of it.
yeah, we really haven't seen any scenes of them together, if any. I don't. Yeah, it's just there's nothing there. I think that this version of the Red Hood storyline is going to play much more off of Dick than it is off of Bruce.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely agree with that.
I
Although some of the shots in the trailer look great though. Like the
oh yeah,
cinematography looks great, I will say.
oh yeah,
And yeah.
I'm sure it'll look cool, and I'm sure
And and there's some shots are like straight up out of like the shows and the comics. Like the one shot with Red Hood by the table with all the gang members. Like that's cool.
Yeah,
That's straight out of Under the Red Hood.
yeah. I think the Red Hood mask could have been improved, to be honest.
It looked better in the concept art.
Yeah,
Do you remember? Do you remember what it looked like there?
Yeah, it looks a little bit too much like a plastic helmet that you buy at Toys R Us.
It's one of those things though. Like I'm trying to think. The Red Hood design could be a little tough because they went comic accurate.
It is tough. It's a
Because
tough design.
they went comic accurate for sure. It just didn't quite translate as well as I think they thought it would. And I'm not gonna totally blame them for that, but I see what the issue is, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad design in my opinion. It's just
No, I think
I
it's not as
think
bad as people have
think
said,
that
but
think
it's
the
fun.
helmet could have been improved, and I look forward to season 3. I'll give it another shot. Hopefully these new writers are better, uh, much better, so much better that we don't even remember the first 2 seasons. So we can have a quality show because these actors deserve to be on a quality show. So, I don't, you get what I'm saying? Like these actors deserve much better than what they've been given. So
Yeah.
I want to see a real Teen Titans show. Like show me these guys teaming up and kicking ass. I want to see it. We've waited 2 years for this. Let's do it. Okay, that's all I
Yeah.
have to say about that.
Yeah, I haven't really got anything else on that. So I guess we'll move to She-Hulk because this actually is pretty cool stuff here. We got the villain officially, and it's going to be Titania, played by Jamila Jamil. Wait, how you pronounce it? Jamila or?
Yeah, don't ask me to pronounce names. I'm terrible at that.
Well, that would hate that name. Both JAM and both your first and last name. That would
Jam
suck.
Jam.
Yeah, Jam Jam. Like that's a rough one.
That's life.
But yeah, so she's gonna be the villain, and Titania is a very cool character actually. I'm very excited to see how that unfolds in the show, and I'm pleasantly surprised because I remember hearing like the villain was gonna be like a social media influencer at one point or something, and I was like, no, I don't want that. Like that's not the kind of vibe I was hoping for. But if Titania actually is the villain, like that's sick. Like that's fun. I think that's gonna be something people really like a lot. I don't know like a ton about the character, but I've done my research on her, and she seems really interesting actually. I think that's really gonna be a good fit in the show.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it. She-Hulk's gonna be a fun show. A lot of potential for cameos and a lot of potential to further the Hulk storyline. And since we're bringing up the villain Titania, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm terrible at pronunciation. Uh, Reportedly, Hulk's son is going to be in
Hulk
this.
gets back.
Yes, Hulk is back. Hulk's son Scar going to be in this reportedly.
Hulk fucked on Sakaar, and we didn't get to see it.
Hulk fucks. Hulk fucks. Hulk fucks. Hulk fucks.
I am Scar is
What's
someone
the
that
sex related superhero talk today?
yeah, I don't know, but Scar in general, I've heard that I don't know anything about Scar, but I've heard that this is a character that people thought was fairly bland in general in the comics, but I wouldn't be shocked if we get some Feige magic and it becomes a really good character because they're not just gonna bring him in just to bring him in. I think Hulk's son is gonna have like a real role in the show in general. I think even beyond the show, I wouldn't be shocked if that could be like a member of like the Young Avengers or something maybe, because that could be like right up the alley. Honestly, I think that could be very cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the character, and I'm obviously excited to see Ruffalo coming back, being in a non-Avengers project. So yeah, I really don't have too much to say about that because I need to be more well versed in the Hulk world.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. There's a lot of fun stuff that seems to be happening over there with that show, and yeah, so looking forward to that for sure.
So also we have a Guardians game that was announced and shown. We got a trailer for it, and
Yeah,
I
it's coming out this year too.
yeah, I have a prediction.
Okay.
It's gonna suck.
No,
I
I don't.
think I
I don't
think
think
it's.
this will suck.
I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I would kill for a great Guardians game. But the fact that this game is coming so soon after the failure of Avengers, and just keeping in mind that what they did before, I'm kind of wary, and I don't know. I also don't like that you can only play a Star Lord. I think that's a big missed opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah, I think this game will be. I think it'll be a good game. I just think
Oh,
I think
early stages, but the graphics don't look that great either to me.
mm, I think the game will be fine. Like I don't think it's gonna be like an Avengers level at this point. I just think it'll be fine. Like that's my guess. I think it'll be just like a fun Guardians of the Galaxy game that could have been improved in many different areas. Uh, and it's gonna be nice to have a good Guardians game, but like I want more. I want different characters than what the MCU has been doing. I want to see. I want
Give
a
me an X
Daredevil. I want a
game.
Daredevil game. I want a Daredevil game.
I will take
I want a
an X-Men
Fantastic
game.
Four game. Give me an X-Men game. I don't like. Give me something different. I mean, God, I don't need Avengers, and I don't need Guardians of the Galaxy. I need a Daredevil game.
If I get a Daredevil game, I'll fucking shit myself.
Yeah, a Jessica Jones game would be pretty cool, doing like investigations and shit, and having combat. That would actually be pretty cool. Or an Iron Fist game would be cool, just like kind of those street level characters. That would be really cool. Maybe a Ghost Rider game. I don't know, but like really, I'm just not. I don't need these big team up games. Honestly, I don't need the video games to be, riffing off of the MCU stuff. Like the MCU can have Guardians and Avengers, and it worked great, right? But why not use the video games as a way to do other characters that haven't necessarily got in the MCU spotlight just yet? Why not do like a Silver Surfer game? Get what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah,
try switch it up. Try different characters that haven't been done by Feige yet.
I really need a Silver Surfer movie at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's a cool character, and
Um,
I think he'll get one eventually. Just it's gonna be a matter of time.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there what else is there that we did not discuss yet? We have. Oh, okay. We can also briefly mention. We did find out the title of Aquaman 2. It's called Aquaman and the Last Kingdom, which sounds pretty cool.
The Lost
I
Kingdom.
I oh yes, the Lost Kingdom. I actually really liked the first Aquaman. I was a big fan. I think visually, it was absolutely stunning. I think the effects were great, and overall the villain was pretty cool too. I actually think that's one of DC's better films.
It's
I'm a
very
fan of it.
fun.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
fun film.
very very fun. Shazam is probably my favorite non-Snyder one because I would put what's it called?
Shazam's the best overall film, in my opinion.
I mean, I think Snyder Cut's easily the best if you're counting that,
Oh,
but
yeah. I'll have to check, but I mean, I meant more like theatrically, because like,
okay, then yeah, no, I would
because
agree. Shazam, I think, is very
the
cohesive.
Snyder Cut's kind of like a special circumstance where they let him drop a 4-hour movie, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I could have dealt with 2 more hours with Shazam. That would have been really fun, but whatever.
Dude, what's it called? I never got like there's a big group of people that don't love Shazam, and I don't get it.
There is well, the main people in the Shazam kind of hate faction are people that think
It's
that
like Snyder
Warner
cultists.
Brothers, yeah, basically what they think that Warner Brothers forced Shazam to be very jokey and not in
But
Snyder's universe, but in
and the
reality,
funny thing is that's literally what Shazam is.
like the thing is that Shazam was always intended to be exactly how it was, even when Zack Snyder was doing
Yeah.
these DC movies. So like it came out exactly like what they planned, and it turned out to be a fantastic
If you
movie.
listen to David Sandberg talking about it, this movie was
And
pretty much what he wanted.
it's
He
very
enjoyed all
clear.
of it, and
It's also very very clear that it's a love letter to what Zack Snyder did with the DC movie. So like,
yeah, and like you got to keep in mind too, it's a movie about a kid who's a superhero and can transform into an adult man. So yeah, it's gonna be a little silly, and this is the first movie in the installments.
yeah,
It's gonna be a
Shazam
trilogy,
was not
obviously.
the movie to be like the super serious kind of movie. It was
No,
supposed,
it's starting
and
out light because it's meant to. Even the villain's played off as this
but at the same time,
stereotypical guy.
it's not necessarily a kids movie either. It has really
No, not at
scary.
all.
It has a lot of horror elements. David Sandberg is a horror director by trade, and you can definitely see those elements a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
in that movie. So like it really is a perfect kind of PG-13 movie where it's like it's not too dark to where it's gonna be like a rated R kind of super, super dark movie, but it's also not a kids movie at all. It's got a lot of, very deep themes, very dark moments, very sinister moments, scary moments, and yeah, it's an awesome movie overall. It's not perfect, but it's an awesome movie.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, man. I think it's DC's best work outside of Snyder Cut, and I love it a lot. But trying to think. I think that's it. Outside of, I guess I will briefly mention the international Sony account posted the No Way Home title sequence with the Spider-Verse glitch, so that was pretty cool. But I think we all know Spider-Verse already, so there's not really much to talk about. Kind of a
Yeah,
scavenger.
and I'm
Kind
not
of
even.
like,
I'm not. I refuse to talk about the trailer. I refuse to do it.
no.
I'm not going to talk about it just because
But hey,
it
at
will.
least we're getting close.
It will be here when it gets here. It will. I will talk about it once it actually drops.
It's nice that we're not too far off now, though. Like, regardless.
No, we're a few weeks off.
That's what I'm saying. It's within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, really. So it's not a long wait. It's just I wish it dropped now. That would be nice. But yeah, I don't really, now that we're a few weeks away, I don't feel this rush anymore. This like rush to get, because I was just feeling a rush to get to like that 6 month mark before release date, because that's when you can usually assume when a trailer is about to drop. So now that we're here in this window, now my gut feeling is just that it's only a matter of time. Really, it's just a matter of when and not if anymore. It's just when that thing is gonna drop. So, and we're gonna get a poster too. So that's gonna be fun. So yeah, it's coming soon. I don't want to really talk about it until it actually drops, because we could drive ourselves nuts with trailer speculation.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm good. Are you? Any last topics you want to touch on, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I'm looking forward to Loki episode 3 next Wednesday, and hopefully, we get even more fun news and trailers and all that next week. But yeah, until then, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty set.
All right. Well, this has been another wonderful episode of Cape Time. But until next time, we're signing off. See you, everybody.
Peace.